Thanks for being here at our balayage class. So Shell is our model today, and when was the last time we colored your hair? Probably like 6-8 months ago?
Yeah. Maybe.
Something like that?
Yeah,
so all of this is her natural, so she's like perfect candidate for balayage. Everything I'm doing today is gonna be freehand with lightener and balayage wrap. I'm not gonna use any foils on her at all to get like a really seamless blend, and so that it can grow out for like another 6 to 8 months without her having to do anything again. So the way that I personally do balayage is I use L'Oreal's, this is like regular like powder bleach. It's not specifically balayage bleach. Everyone does it totally different. This, I just mix it to the consistency that I like. So it's like a little bit stiffer. And I find with using it in the wrap, it doesn't swell. Most people say like, oh, you can't use regular lightener because it's gonna swell. But I feel like if you mix it stiff enough, it stays exactly where you put it. I have used clay lighteners or like ones like open air ones before, and for myself, I just never found that it got the amount of lift that I wanted. It always kind of, for me at least, got kind of stuck at like an orange or like a yellow, where with this, I feel like I can get like really bright blonde. So I'm gonna mix, I've mixed up lightener and 20 vol. We're gonna start in the back section. And then I'm gonna bump up the developer once we get to the front, just so hopefully she can be processed at the same time and we're not sitting here waiting for a long time. But when I'm doing it on a client in the salon, I will formulate based on what my timing needs to be. So like if I know I have a haircut while she's processing, I'll use like the same level of developer the whole way through, knowing that I'll rinse out the back first, and then the front will sit on longer, and that will give me time to do a haircut and come back to it. But if they're the only person in your chair and you're worried about timing, you can always bump up the developer once you get to the front, just so everything evens out with timing. I like to start in the back because I feel like it gives me more control if I need to rinse that out first. So the way I normally section it, it's real pretty. I figure out where they normally part their hair and keep that. So if they sometimes wear it on the side or sometimes wear it in the middle, I always go with middle because you want the color to be symmetrical. So Shell is normally parting her hair around here, so we're gonna stick with that. So I just section off the front 2 panels and give them nice little pigtails. And then I'm gonna be working with the entire back section all at once. So, Shay, if you wanna come help me. So the way that I section, I pretty much do almost all my balayages the same sectioning. I will just, depending on how thick their hair is or how much blonde they want, I'll either take bigger sections or smaller sections. So if somebody is like completely virgin, they don't have any light ends at all, I will probably take smaller sections so I can saturate it more. She's already pretty light on the ends. So we're gonna take like medium-sized sections. And then, so everything I make a V into the center to start. And then I'm gonna be working with these 2 sections right here. So if somebody wants to be really blonde and not have like any of their natural color coming through, I'll take the whole section and paint that. If you want a little bit of their natural to come through so that you get a little bit more like it's not so solid looking on the bottom, I will section out parallel to the parting and just section a piece of it out and leave that off to the side and then paint this. So for timing's sake, I'll probably do it this way in the back, and then in the front, we'll make her nice and bright. So I won't leave any of these sections out. So I always have one one brush that's like just specifically for the bowl and painting onto the paddle. And then this one is only for painting on hair, and I want to keep them like super clean and separate. I never want to be dipping this one into the bowl because it's going to get all gunky, and you need to have like a clean brush and a clean surface at all times. So I usually will just section a little bit out on here, and I just kind of dab it. I'm only really using one side of the brush. And I'll paint in a V. So I start at the top and just kind of really, really lightly, I'm just kind of surface painting here. Sometimes I'll just do big V's if you want like lots of kind of like big sections of color, but it's been a really long time since we've done this, so I'm gonna kind of do it in, paint it all the way up. Then once you start to get to the middle section, you want to start pressing a little bit harder. So now I'm kind of like pushing it into the center. Pushing it like a little bit harder. So it's making its way to like about like the center of the section. And then on the ends, this is where I flip over and actually paint it onto the paddle. No. I like to get like, I don't know, I feel like if I'm wearing gloves, I can't like truly feel where everything is. I don't know, it's just me. It drives Allie crazy. And then what I'll do is I will pick up the section on the bottom and see like how blended it is. Sometimes it needs to be a little bit more blended. And when I'm painting the bottom, I always am painting on the corner of the board. Because if you paint it like this, you're going to more likely get like a stark line on the back, where this always kind of creates a V. So I paint on the corner. So if ever I get like a chunk of bleach back there, it's usually more in a V shape rather than just like a straight line. And then, thank you. Yeah. So I just go one underneath.
And one on top.
One on top. And then same thing, I'm going to get a little bit more bleach for here. I'm going to section out a chunk parallel to the part and do the same thing.
So you won't pick it up and like do it underneath, you only paint that one side, right?
Pretty much, yeah, because she's already light at the bottom.
Okay, cool. Will you ever do that?
If somebody has like virgin hair and they've got no lightness in the bottom, then yes,
Okay.
I will like really saturate through, and I might go back in with my fingers to make sure that it does make it all the way through. But for the most part, because her ends are bright, I don't need to saturate the bottom. I'm just kind of like, sorry guys, I know I'm kind of have my back to you. This.
Your sections are even in like width in terms of the two part lines being parallel. Do you ever take triangular or like U-shaped?
U-shaped?
Yeah, like when you're taking your subsection there, you took like a parallel even diameter.
Oh, like this part underneath?
Yeah. Well, the section you just painted.
Yeah.
Is even all the way through. Like it's an even diagonal back.
Yes.
Slice. Do you ever take U-shaped slices?
Not normally. Sometimes I'll do, if I'm doing like, say I have a client that comes in way too often, like they don't need to come in, but they want to, and they want to get it done, which drives me crazy. What I'll do is I'll do like U sections, and I'll kind of do everything about 2 inches, and rather than doing big V's, I just kind of like paint single strands just to break it up. Most likely because somebody who's coming in all the time, their ends are really light anyways, and it can't really handle to be saturated on the end every time. But for the most part, like I would say 95% of the time, this is how I'm doing it. Sorry, I don't need one that. V's, then this one.
And you did like plastic under the pen?
Yes, just for the very bottom one, so that it's in there. Everything now from here on up is just on top. So then this next one, I'm going to create a triangle and just going to go straight across here. And those 3 sections, that's my pattern for the whole, all the way up the head. So my next one, I'm gonna go V, V, straight across, V, V, straight across, all the way up till you start getting smaller triangles up here. So for the bottom, like I can take fairly big sections because I'm trying to cover a lot of ground at one time. So again, get a little bit more on here. And you can see like this side of the brush is like stays clean the whole time. So for this, I'm gonna leave out a little bit because we're gonna do that in the back. Just kind of toss that off to the side. Still parallel to your parting, yeah. So on something like this, if she has more blonde in there, I'd probably just do the V, but like I said, because it's been like probably 8 months since we've done that, I'm gonna do like a smaller one in the middle. Just to break it up, because underneath that, it's all her natural there. So there's gonna be depth in there. As I get to the middle, start pressing down a little bit more. Ends. Check underneath, and it's good. No? Oh, really? You feel like it makes you wear gloves more?
It makes me more conscious of it, yeah.
That's why I got my
And so I don't have like black death claws.
That's why I get mine done, because I look like a mechanic otherwise.
I just embrace the hairstylist now.
I went to a naturopath once, and she immediately grabbed my hands and was like, "What do you do for work?" And I was like, "I'm a hairstylist." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, okay, that makes sense, because otherwise I would say your heart is failing, and we need to take you to the ambulance or to the emergency right now. You are having a heart attack." So again, I'm going to section out parallel to the parting, throw that off to the side.
After you guys took that balayage class, do you feel like you dramatically changed anything, or is this kind of how you've always done it?
No, this is, okay, that's what I actually wanted to talk about. I feel like I am like a perfect hybrid of Candy Shaw Codner. Yes, that's her real name.
Sorry, say that again.
Candy Shaw Codner. She's the one that developed this balayage wrap. It's called Sunlight's Balayage. So that was 2 years ago was the first time I'd ever seen this done and ever heard of it. And it was like a free class through West Coast Beauty. And she was, Candy herself was there showing this. And I went out and I bought the kit like right away. And then I was like obsessed with it and trying it out on my sister and failing miserably. But I just kept like trying to find anywhere that would teach me how to do it. So a lot of it was kind of trial and error. And then Rosie and Shay and I went down to Everett, Washington, and took a class from this Lisa Loves Balayage. I don't know if you guys follow her on Instagram. She's amazing. And she was so down to earth and so cool, and like her work is amazing, but she was like, she'll be like so straight up about if something was like a mistake. She's like, "Oh, that bleach wasn't supposed to go there," or I don't know. She was really cool to learn from. So she was the one where I got, Lisa Loves Balayage. This is where I got this sectioning pattern from. She will often use like real paintbrushes. She'll use real paintbrushes. She wears gloves. She like often like saturates all the way through to the bottom, and then will go back in with like her fingers and like smudge it up. So I don't usually do that, but this sectioning is straight up Lisa. She taught us like a bunch of different ones, but for some reason this is the one that just really resonated with me, and I love it. And I do it, yeah. I can do like a full head of balayage in 45 minutes, where we all know a full head of foils takes me 3 hours, so. And you can just like cover a lot of ground really quickly. So again, I'm gonna go in.
Did you ever take a L'Oreal balayage class?
Mm-mm.
Do they teach balayage classes?
Jessica BK teaches them, but she doesn't do things.
Who?
Jessica BK, she's a good L'Oreal color.
Oh, okay.
But like, I think I learned somebody else like a long time ago.
That's just gonna hang there.
Oh, click.
No, I'm good. Actually, maybe yes.
Do you ever do backcombing with your balayage?
I don't.
No, me neither. If she ever uses like backcombing.
Sometimes I don't know, like I don't understand the point of doing balayage and backcombing. Like for me, I fake a balayage with a backcomb so that you don't pick up oranginess.
Yeah,
Right.
You know, like so I baby lights and backcomb sections with like full saturation.
Yeah.
Just so you can control your warmth,
Yes.
which is a fake balayage essentially, a different technique. I mean, you know, it's a different
Balayage.
technique. Yeah, balayage.
Yeah.
Which I do a lot more of.
The only yeah, I find that's kind of the only time that I'll ever backcomb is like, if oftentimes I'll do a combination of I'll do all this underneath, and then I'll do like baby lights on top, and then I'll backcomb. But that's usually if I'll usually only do highlights on top if people don't want an extremely blended look. If they want to see more like, I don't want to say stripiness, but they want to see like more contrast and more pieciness. I personally have, like, since I learned how to do this, was like just obsessed with like trying to perfect like the seamless blend. And it always drove me, my balayages before that I was doing, like using a highlight version, it would always drive me crazy because there was like some part of it where you could see where the highlight started and it wasn't blended. So that's why I don't backcomb, because I find with this method, like the painting is so seamless that you don't need to backcomb, and it's just kind of one extra step that kind of slows you down. But I feel like there's like a time and a place for it. I recently had someone ask me to redo their hair because it was too blended. She's like, it's too perfect, like it's too seamless. Like she's like, I want like a little bit more. Yeah, she's like, I want it like a little bit more like contrast, and she didn't use the word chunky, but a little bit more chunky. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to like, I don't know, it's just like, I'm gonna have to really think about how I'm gonna redo it. But
So how did you redo it?
I haven't redone it yet.
Low lights or is
But
it
say low
silicone?
lights, balayage and low lights.
Yeah,
Depends on how high up you go.
I haven't redone it yet, but we'll see. I might even just like foil some low lights in it. I've done this on Asian hair with foils and been really frustrated with it.
It doesn't stick, right?
Well, what happens is everything up here on the surface gets nice and bright, and then everything where it's like thicker down here, if it's not completely saturated, will kind of stay a little bit orangey.
Yeah.
So this is not ideal for Asian hair or like really dark hair.
Yeah.
Or previously colored hair, like dark hair, like do not do this. This is like perfect for your level 5s that want to have like caramel dark blonde ends. It's level 5 and up, I would say. I would do highlights. I would do highlights and backcombing with foil. I mean, it kind of depends. Like it depends on how, like, again, how dark. Like if somebody is like colored their hair, like say that they were like really highlighted and then they colored their hair like a 6 or a 7, you could maybe do this, but you're probably not going to get them as bright as if, well, you won't get them as bright as if you did it like in a foil. And anything like darker than that, I would just like foil it. You're gonna be so frustrated. Because another thing about this wrap, you cannot put them under a heater. I learned that one the hard way.
Oh, no.
I like walked away and then I was like, came back a couple minutes later, I was like, it's melting. So on the top, I'm still doing the same thing. I'm going into the center. And then into the center. So kind of creating those two. And then I'm left with a triangle at the top.
And you're not dropping out your she's had balayage before.
Yes.
I'm assuming, and you're not, you're overlapping.
I'm overlapping, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm overlapping because some of it's light, but we're only using 20 and we're using Smart Bond as well. If she was like white on the ends,
That's where I struggle with balayage is like retouching it.
where to stop? Yeah.
Like I don't know. I'm never super happy with the retouch. Like I
Yeah.
love it the first time, virgin hair, it's amazing.
Right. So
Yeah.
what I find is I will often so say she comes back in and her ends are like a true like kind of orangey 8. Like I will paint with like 20 up here and 6 on the ends because I know they're already halfway there.
So you connect always, regardless. You just change your developer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless I know their hair can't handle it, then I will just drop it out. But what I find is most of the time, like my balayage clients come back every 6 to 8 months. The lightness, like their hair can handle it to be lightened again on the bottom. If I'm like, I know I've been doing Shell's hair since I was in hair school. So I know her hair can handle it, and I'm also not like super saturating the ends. But if I was worried about that, I probably would have just like stopped where it starts to get really light and just drop that out. And then before I wash it, I'd probably just go in and like comb it through. Just like for the last couple of minutes, just to like brighten it up or whatever.
So you would like take all the wrap out and
Yeah. I just like, it's awesome. You can literally just like tug it and pull all the wrap out at one time. And then I use like a tangle teaser brush and just basically, I was gonna,
I'll show you. I have one.
Shay has one. It's like a really fine tooth, like short, hard bristle brush.
I know exactly what you're talking about. They have like 3 rows of teeth.
Oh, here. I'll go grab one for you.
Shay has one, yeah. And then I'll just like comb it through.
Yeah.
And you find after it's processed, you can still get through it getting wet, like the tends too dry.
No, because I'm not
Because of the wrap.
the wrap, and I'm not using hard clay lightener.
No, that's what the wrap is. Well, like when you do something, I'll just.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that?
I got this from Urban Outfitters.
Yeah.
You guys think you wanna?
Do you use the sunlight?
The lightener. I used to when I first started, when I was first learning how to do this. I felt like I couldn't get enough lift out of it. So this is,
It's used to refresh ends in the basin, but I don't know any other way to use, like I don't use it for anything else other than that.
yeah.
But yeah, just wondering if people use it for what, for the flash like lift essentially. Basin lift.
If anything, I would say that it's slower acting than this. I guess it depends on what you mix it with.
With your sections, are you alternating like where you put your beads, like going in the center of your section and on the outsides, or?
I'm usually, wherever my section is, I'm usually doing a V.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, sometimes you don't want to get too aggressive with the inside one so that when this comes together, it looks like a giant large one. So I usually do like the chunkier ones on the outside and then like lighter. Sometimes I'll bring one side up higher and one side lower, knowing that those two are going to come together in the middle. And then, so this is my last section. So this is what is going to cover everything and what everyone's going to see. So for this, I want it to be bright, so I will do a VV and then I'll probably do one in the middle. So I'm just going to, a W. So I'm going to drop this guy out. Pardon me?
This is your straight across.
Yes, this is my straight across section.
Does it ever happen when you get to the top and it's supposed to be a V?
Sometimes, but you can just like say that you're like left with this and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do with it. You can do a tiny VV and like you can always like just get like smaller and smaller towards the top. Some people paint up into the hair. I know Chris does that a lot. And it looks amazing for his. I always paint down. I can't get it to look blended if I go up, and then I feel like I'm like creating frizz and getting like bleach stuck up in there. So I know that some people will paint up into the hair. I usually start midway, get kind of rid of the bulk of my product, and then end up just kind of dry brushing, but I'm always going towards myself. But again, that's kind of like personal preference, because like I said, Chris brushes up into it all the time and it looks amazing. I just always go down because I just feel like I have more control that way.
I'll usually brush up too, but my problem is when I paint like this, I can't get it bright enough to the root. Like that's always my like, it didn't. So I think since you paint this way, yours are always so bright, like right up to the root.
Right, because it's like, this is pretty, I mean, it's pretty wet still.
Yeah.
But
Versus when you go upwards, I always feel like I created like this much that's not painted anymore because you created that backbone with the tees.
right. Okay, so that's my last section. I'm gonna put that off to the side. So then when I'm coming around to the side, usually I will, this side is a little bit heavier because she parts a little bit off center. I'll usually tackle the heavier side first, just because by the time you get to the last section, you're like tired and you don't want to be tackling like another really big section. So I kind of do, on the sides, I do a little bit of a similar thing of what we've done in the back. So I'll always go diagonal forward for the first section. So you guys can see that. So that you get like this nice bright piece like right around the ear and do a V here. Then my next section, I go straight across and I create a square, like a box. Go straight across. Then I'll do that again, diagonal forward to create that, and then straight across to create a box. So everything's like two triangles on top of each other. So because we want her a little bit brighter around the face, I'm not going to like take out a section. I'm just going to paint the whole section.
Do you want new light?
Yeah, actually, can you mix me up 30? Let's do this piece. I always like hold it a little bit back because I want to see like when she wears her hair up. You want to kind of have that like nice like sweep of color this way. So rarely, I'm not going to hold it like straight down like this. I'm going to kind of hold it like parallel to my parting. And I always go like nice and tight in around the hairline so that once it's done and we've color melted it and everything, like when you pull the hair back once it's dry, you should have these like really beautiful like sweeps of bright colors, of the bright blonde, I should say.
Do you get people asking for, or do you consider or use like contouring techniques when you're thinking about your like placement and like your face shape?
Not
Or just,
really.
like, where it's like organic, like where you feel like it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Usually it ends up being kind of like, not recession points. What's the opposite of recession points? Like Shell's hair goes in and out. It's not like a straight hairline. So anywhere where the hairline comes out, is where you want the lightness. Yeah, I like that. Peaks and valleys.
Tell me this is too liquidy, I'm not sure.
I don't like it for highlights. I use it for highlights for some reason.
I just feel like, are you talking about like the little tiny pots, like the cream stuff? I just,
Generally, we all use like the consistency of it is really nice.
yeah. I like this because I feel like you can mix it to whatever consistency you want.
Yeah.
If I'm doing baby lights, I'll mix it like super runny so I can just like saturate. Or for this,
Economically, like the fabric costs you a lot.
Yeah, platinum.
yeah. Oh gosh, I'm like, I probably would have gone through a whole tube of that today on my sister, or like a whole jar of it.
Take 20 away 30 now?
Yes, please. Yeah, that's perfect. So like, you can kind of see it's kind of like the consistency of Greek yogurt, maybe a tiny bit stiffer.
That also stays really wet,
Yeah.
so there's more chance of like more being frozen more.
Here, I got us whisks.
Although if you use oil, it's not plastic.
So again, I've done that like section straight across. So my first was my triangle, now I've created the square. And I'm gonna go out to that, where her hairline comes out a little bit.
So you're not leaving any hair out yet?
No, I decided for the front, I wanted to show you guys without leaving hair out, and we want her brighter around the front anyways. What I like about this too is like, it's so great for like little baby hairs. You can include them in the mix, whereas like doing a highlight, it's so hard to get some of those in there, especially like for like moms. Most of Shell's baby regrowth has like grown out, wouldn't you say? From last one? No?
No.
Okay, it's like a weird length, so that, which is like so hard to highlight. So I like this. If I want to like include that little guy in there, I totally can. Just like paint it right in there.
The main advantage of using the plastic wrap over something like meshes is mainly because it's disposable.
And clings.
It clings. I like it too because you can see exactly when the color is like ready. Like you can see through it. Meshes, I just am honest with myself. I know I wouldn't take the time to clean them and dry them. Like I think they're really cool. I just think for like realistically, when you're busy in the salon, you're not gonna have time. It's the last thing you want to do at the end of the night. And if you're doing like 4 of these in a day, that's like a lot of mesh to have. Also really like the sections kind of end up like the whole section of lightener of wrap sticks together. So I can easily like if I'm gonna like lean her back in the sink, I can easily like move both side sections as like 2 whole things and lean her back and have those over the side of the sink. So Shell was my first highlight model in hair school, and it took 8.5 hours. Seven and a half hours, yeah.
Mine did, and I had another girl doing it with me.
Oh my gosh.
I'll never forget, it was like right before Thanksgiving weekend too, and the girl was so pissed because she had to leave. Like, she
Oh
was
no.
it was taking forever.
What do you expect?
I was like, this cost you like $12.
Yeah.
I literally spend more money on the product than what I'm charging.
Yeah. So I've kind of played around with how I like to do the top section. I don't actually remember how Lisa taught us to do that, but I've kind of done a couple different things. So basically, once I get to the top and I've only got basically like 1.5 inch section left to work with, it's gonna be too difficult to try and do that like triangle square thing. So I've done like basically 4 sections here. Now that I'm at the top and I want it to be like the brightest around the face, this whole top section, I'm just gonna do nothing but diagonal forwards. So I'm gonna do a section like that. I'm gonna do the next one a diagonal forward, the next one diagonal forward, and my last section, which will be the brightest piece around the face, may only be like this big, but I want it to be like the brightest there. And this is on the top. This is kind of fun where you can play around. Like most of the time, I'm always doing my V's, but if you have someone that like really like almost wants more depth there, you can just do like kind of like diagonal back section. So you just like basically paint up high here and then just bring it over here and not do the V on this side. But I feel like most of my clients are like, make me as blonde as possible, without me having to get my roots done. It'll come up like nice and high. And if somebody says, this will happen sometimes, someone will be like, I don't want the blonde to come up too high. Still paint it higher, because you know you're gonna like color melt that back down with a toner afterwards, most likely. So I always go a little bit higher than where you want it to like sit in the very end. Because like say they're like, I don't want the blonde to come up higher on my face. If you just paint it to here, you're gonna be toning that down and then the blonde's gonna end up even lower. So I always go, especially on the top, I go pretty high. How do you guys feel about like formulating or color melting toners afterwards? Is that like tricky? Do you feel like you often get results you don't want? It goes too dark? Doesn't go dark enough? What?
I don't normally color melt my toners together. I usually
Just do one from root tint
or like apply it to the growth first and then switch it through.
and then squish it through? Yeah.
Do you tend to do most of your toners at the chair or the sink?
I do most of them at the sink. That's kind of changing now that we're like a lot busier. Like I had, yeah, we're supposed to do them at the chair.
So you're doing like color melt, like you're doing like, when you say color melt, do you mean like a root smudge on your balayage? Or a dark toner at your root and then something later on the ends?
Not like a dark toner, but like I usually go like a shade darker at the root than I do at the ends. Unless they're already like a level 7 or like a level 8.
Like hers, like really tone depending on what.
Yeah, usually like for shells, I'll maybe do like a little bit of a deeper one, like half a shade deeper, if I want it to be like that perfect like seamless gradation.
Yeah, because if you want to like dimension up at the top, there's no point in darkening it back down because then you lose that depth of light to dark.
Yeah, I just find that sometimes it. Well, if like say she was like a level like 5 or 6, like usually this part's gonna stay pretty warm, so I end up using 2 different ones. So this I will usually go like a lot heavier towards the front because I want it to be the brightest there. Or sometimes I'll just do like a couple like really, really small baby lights around the front with foil. If you want that like, you know, that really distinct like 2 super blonde pieces.
And then what kind of sectioning would you do for that baby light?
For the baby light, I literally just follow the hairline and just do like
Here? Like parallel to the hairline?
yeah, so like before I start painting this section, I would just do like maybe like 2 foils along her hairline.
And do you do it across the part, or you do on the other side?
I would do it not across the part, like kind of like up and under to the part. I have done it across the part and then like
It's too perfect.
not too perfect. I like did too many of them and then it just looked like 2 blonde chunks. So like actually I think I was talking to Allie about that. that it's like with that, it's like less is more. You almost have to do it like wherever your part is, you have to do it like kind of underneath that. And then right at the very front, that's where you stop. And then that depth kind of comes over. So like right at the front, I'll like paint almost right up to the skin, just kind of like feather it out. And this section is really tiny, so it's like most likely a lot of it's like saturating through, but that's okay because I want it to be like really bright blonde there. The money piece. And with this, I'll come up like a little bit higher and like, rather than like only just pressing at the bottom, like I'll come up a little bit higher and like saturate it a little bit higher up. Right. Shay, can you mix me some 40? Thanks, Ellie. So same thing, I'm doing diagonal. Shay, do you mind grabbing me a towel as well?
Have you ever tried using like gloves and no paddle, where you keep your dip, like if you're doing a paddle, you sort of your dip spot, palm, like on the top of your hand?
Yes, I've done that in a class before.
Yeah.
I didn't love keeping it on my hand because then I kind of felt like I would go to like touch something else and like smudge it. But for example, like this morning, I was doing a balayage on a friend of mine who's like a 4'5" and virgin hair. And I knew that if I did this technique, probably it would stay blonde up here and be orange on the ends. So I wore gloves, and after each section, I really saturated, and I went back in and smudged and made sure.
Because it's the finger thing, you get so much more access and
Yeah.
pressure control.
Yeah.
But I feel like the dipping pot isn't big enough, so I don't like it for long hair. Like
Yeah.
dogs, I like it, but I don't like it for long hair because you just have to reapply your palm so many times.
So many times, yeah, because the palm isn't as big as like a paddle is. So there's some of Shell's like baby hair regrowth, so I'll just like drop that out and paint it afterwards. And again, I'm like holding it out and kind of parallel to the section, or parallel to the parting, sorry.
I'm still being in the back right now. I feel like with trying, like, especially trying to get the plastic wrap, like, done on your own. I feel like that would be the most tedious part, is just making sure it doesn't, like, fold on you while you're trying.
It's pretty good though. It's
Wrap it around my body. But this is what I'll do while I'm painting, and then
That works for
it
you.
usually works.
When you go walk in and shake, it's like so bad around your head to toe.
it's not as bad as regular saran wrap. I find it's not as clingy.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, that might be a money-making idea. Yeah, I
And it's not actually over. Like it would be like right while it's over, like when like Dragon's Den, like, oh, it's money, and then they're like, no one wants.
This is 40 now, just so you know.
Okay, perfect.
Are we bringing this wrap into the shop? I ordered this.
Yes.
Yeah, and I ordered it's wider. I didn't realize. She said it comes in short, medium, and long, and I thought that like
Yeah,
the
it's
wider
really
one.
not
Yeah.
That makes so much sense, not to, like, making it 2 or 3, what is it? You know, this duration is like.
Yeah, it's almost like a roll of toilet paper, like it's little squares.
Just make it as long as you want it.
Yeah. So I've only ever bought the short one, but for me, I'm never usually taking like super wide sections. So
You could use the wide one, but just go like the whole section at once, you know, but I guess
Yeah.
the way you do your sectioning, those ones make more sense.
yeah, the wide one would work in the back when I'm doing the two. I just feel like it might be, it's just on the side, a wide would be huge. Like they're pretty wide. So, so guys, with these little tiny baby hairs in here, like normally I'm starting middle up and then going up there, but from these guys, they can get like messy real fast. So I'll usually just like start with the little baby ones and pull it down and then just leave them. Don't rework them too much because they get messy real fast. I just bumped it up again, yeah.
This is
Yeah. I don't, 20, 30, 40. I don't normally do that. I'm more doing that for the class so that we're not sitting here waiting. A little long. 20 in the back, 30 on the first side, and now it's 40 on this side. Yeah. Or, if you have the time, you can, like I said, like if I know I've got a haircut in between, I'll use all the same developer, rinse out the back, and then she sits and processes while I do a haircut. So again, this one, now I'm going to be doing sections again towards the face, but a bunch of them, and then the smallest one at the front. And I pretty much always sell my clients on Smart Bond because the majority of the time you're going over previously lightened hair because everyone wants to be brighter than they were last time.
Price wise, what is Smart Bond? I mean, I know it's cheaper, but saying it now, it's between Olaplex and Smart Bond.
You don't have to bump the base.
Well, no, I mean the price.
It's $240 for the kit, correct? Olaplex is $300.
Olaplex, yeah, is a lot.
And same with amounts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same amounts, but
You get more sets too, don't you?
you get two, yeah, you get two conditioners.
Oh, wait, yeah, you're right, because Olaplex only gives you the one step too.
They give you the one step two, which you always run out of first.
So then you have to buy a whole.
Yeah.
And the Smart Bond take home is great.
Yeah.
I just don't like it.
And then you don't have to worry about comparing Olaplex.
You don't like Olaplex or Smart Bond?
Huh.
Yeah.
What about Smart Bond do you not like?
I find it waxy. I don't think the hair is nearly as soft as is Olaplex. I just don't really like the Smart Bond for me. I just haven't noticed a real like aesthetic feel improvement. Whereas with Olaplex, I can really feel the difference.
Yeah.
Between something high lift, you know.
Yeah.
Just personally, I've used both of them a lot. And
Yeah.
I really liked Olaplex.
Yeah, so I find it so interesting that someone will like love one thing and another person's like, bleh.
We have like a million people use different things in the
Yeah.
school we
Yeah.
run in the salon.
Being like a super high lift blonde too, like I've used them both, and I just really notice the difference.
Between, yeah.
She needs to take home by herself.
I've used them both, yeah. And love the Olaplex one. And I find that Smart Bond is waxy.
Yeah.
Smart Bond, what if you don't use a Smart Bond on them? Could they still do a taper, or does it work if it's been used on professionally first?
Sorry, can you repeat that, Ange?
The Smart Bond take home,
Yeah.
can someone take that home even if they've never had like Smart Bond used on
In
them
salon
in the
treatment?
salon treatment? Yeah. Do you know?
The instructions say that you're supposed to have the treatment. I don't really know.
I don't, I mean, I don't think it would do any damage to your hair.
Yeah.
I just don't think you'd really get the full benefit of it. I think it would just kind of end up being like working like a conditioner.
Yeah.
Yeah. The back is getting there, probably pretty close to being ready to come out. And this side's coming along like really nicely. So if I was to like rinse her out at the sink, like say this was like we were ready, when my client's leaning back, I usually just get them to like hold up the two little wings, lean the back, put those over the side, and you can like rinse them right away. And I like this because you can just easily like go in, and I'll go in and I'll like check, still make sure everything's like feeling really nice and strong, and yeah. Any questions? Do you guys ever do like full balayage with no foils at all, or are you always kind of doing combos? No?
It depends on what I'm doing, it depends on the color of the hair.
Yeah.
I've never worked in the salon with that was willing to buy other things other than foils.
Other than foils, yeah.
I use both at one time.
So,
Use both at one time?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Just depends on the client and the hair
Yeah.
type.
For some reason, last week I was doing a ton of combos. I was doing like balayaging everything underneath and doing like baby lights on top. And then there's some weeks where I'm. Yeah, it depends on what they want to see. Yeah. So when the AC is on, like I notice that like the lightener won't light as like fast. So I'll usually just like put a towel on them just to like keep the heat in.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a really
It just like keeps like a little bit of like the heading in there. Bye, feel better. Cause like the ends, because the ends are more saturated, those will normally get like warmer, but I find that up here can tend to like dry out. Like we have the AC going all the time. So I'll just put like a towel on their head and it helps it process a tiny bit faster.
would you not instead do foils on the top couple just to like keep the heat in with foils instead of a towel?
I just like love how blended this is. I feel like personally, I just don't feel like I ever get as like perfect of like a seamless blend with foils. But that's just like totally like personal preference. And then, yeah, I don't know.
I basically had to like make things work with what I had.
Totally,
Foils is all I had.
totally.
Foils were freehand with colors that would.
Yeah.
So.
Which is like interesting. Like you might find like starting to do this, you will most likely maybe always do a combo because you're like used to doing foils. Have you guys started toning with 15 ball?
No.
No?
I had before too.
You had before too.
I know Jamie has tried it too.
I love it.
Yeah, because that's beautiful, baby.
And did you like it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I used it again on like I used it again at one point, and it just like was that much slightly brighter. I was like,
Yeah. I just find that some of them just grab anything ashy with using 9 ball grabs so fast. Like the very first time that I used 9.11 on my sister and turned her into a Smurf, like straight up blue an hour before she had to go to work. Thankful. But then it turned into the perfect silver, and then people at her work were like, "Who does your hair? How do you get that color?" And I'm like, "Don't tell them." Okay, so I'm gonna wash shell out now. We're looking like we're there, and everything should be done at roughly the same time.
See what your there is.
Yes. So like the ends are like pretty bright.
Yeah, yeah.
oh, okay, yeah.
And
From
like,
far away, I'm like, it all just looks.
yeah. So for her, I think what I will probably do, because I want her to be really nice and bright, I'm most likely going to tone her all over with like my favorite toner, which is 10-1-2 and 10-2-1 mixed together,
Half and half?
half and half. And then,
Yeah, only 10-1-2.
oh, it's so pretty. Yeah. Mixed together is so pretty. And then probably I'll do it at the sink. And then I'll probably just, on the front here, just to make sure that it's really nice and blended on like the top layers, I'll probably just like smudge down like an 813 is really nice. Or sometimes like just like a 9 end if you just want to like tiny, just like mute it the littlest bit. Okay. So what we're doing right now is we're toning from roots to ends with 10-1-2 and 10-2-1 so that we get a really cool result. If we had any kind of warmth at the root, we would tone with something a little bit deeper than the blonde but lighter than her natural color. But because she lifted really evenly and bright to the root, we want to keep it as bright as possible and just tone her from roots to ends.
Do you have enough toner on your side?
Yes,
Are you okay
I
with
do.
that?
Yeah.
Scoop the rest.
What did you wash with?
All I did was the Smart Bond Part 2.
Oh, right, that's what I'm smelling. I was like,
Yeah.
It smells different, familiar.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't think what it is.
Okay, do you know what I didn't know about Smart Bond number 2? Is apparently if you like just shampoo and conditioner the hair like after you bleached it, like you don't actually completely stop the bleach from working. So if you put the toner on after just shampoo and conditioning, if you haven't changed the pH of the hair, it's very slow, but the bleach is still kind of like eating away at the toner that you did. So the like step 2 like literally changes the pH to completely stop it from working. I know, I didn't know that. I know.
This looks beautiful.
Yeah, this is like the prettiest toner ever.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never used 10-2-1. I always use 10-1-2. Yeah. But I guess this is just violet ash. Is that what it is?
Yeah. I
So
find
pretty.
straight 10-1-2, it can go silver
Yeah.
really quick.
Yeah.
But this keeps the